Hello everyone. It's a real pleasure to be able to speak to you today, and my only regret is that I'm not able to join you in person. As you hear this message, I'm actually in committee now, taking through the Marine and Coastal Access Bill, so I hope you'll understand. I know a recorded message comes in a poor second, but I didn't want to miss this opportunity to share a few thoughts with you this morning. Now, some of you, in fact I'm sure most of you, have already caught on that I was born on the Gower of course being the very first place to be designated an area of outstanding natural beauty. Much of my childhood was spent cycling back and forth across the Gower. But my family then moved to the edge of the Brecon Beacons National Park. This is something you probably heard me say before. In fact, I mention it quite a lot. My private secretaries in my office, who hear it a lot as well, they have the good fortune to listen to pretty much every speech I make, would confirm that I do mention it. But I have to tell you, it's something I intend to keep on saying and reminding people, because I feel incredibly proud and extremely privileged to have had the opportunity to live in some of the most breathtaking landscapes that the UK has to offer. Landscapes that I think simply wouldn't be here today in the current form if it wasn't for the national parks and the Access to the Countryside Act. Introduced in 1949, the Act has enabled us to carry out some significant work this past 60 years. But the critical question is, what of the next 60 years and beyond? It's clear that difficult decisions will need to be made in the future, particularly when that future is set against the backdrop of the biggest single challenge we all face, climate change. Now, last month, we launched our climate change projections. Based on the latest cutting-edge science, their message is quite stark. In the next 80 years, we could see hotter summers, lower rainfall in the south, higher rain in the north. If we don't take action to cut our emissions, the scenario will be much worse. We're already seeing an impact. Successive winters of intense rainfall on Blackdown, the highest point within the Mendip Hills AONB, which has contributed to eroded paths and water-filled gullies. Fortunately, the land itself does much to combat climate change naturally. Heaths and moorland provide carbon sinks, and some 10 million tonnes of carbon is stored within our peat soil. And we need to devise more innovative ways to unlock the land's natural potential without lessening the protection. Now, I see AONBs very much playing an active part in this solution. Solutions like those offered by the North Pennines AONB's Peatscapes project. Thousands of kilometres of moorland drains are being blocked to support a range of ecosystem services such as flood reduction, watercolour reduction and carbon storage. Renewable projects will need to become more widespread if we are to meet the EU target for renewable energy generation and our own domestic pledge of 80% reductions in emissions by 2050. I know that there isn't a one-size-fits-all solution to this, and that communities have their own strong views, and that's right. But when it comes to climate change, we all need to do our bit. If we don't, we will only continue to fuel the problem. So I'm really looking to all of you today to lead by example. The Sustainable Development Fund has provided the funding for these and many other projects which are now vital in combating climate change. Now we've moved to single pot funding, you must still ensure that they get your support. Natural England has just recently drawn up guidance to encourage you to devise action plans under the European Landscape Convention. I would urge you to give this some really serious consideration, as it really will improve the way we look after our landscapes. And I want to assure you that I don't intend for any of us to lose sight of why we wanted to preserve these landscapes in the first place. But we will have to change how we do things on a global scale if we are to preserve our planet. And I'm certain that the pride and passion I feel for the land is shared by all of you as well. And I feel confident about the future. I know that there's much to be done, and it won't always be easy. But working together, there is so much that we can achieve. We owe it to ourselves, we owe it to our planet, and we owe it ultimately to the land. Thank you very much.